When the TV movie Cyberbully aired on ABC Family, it immediately held a mirror up to the teenagers of 2011 and showed them how a certain newly available home technology was causing irreversible damage and trauma. Heat straightening your hair every day? And just to put it up in a ponytail? Oh, can I at least make some hair extensions out of the breakage in your bathtub drain? Oh yeah, and this was also the height of kids viciously making fun of each other on the internet. And no, I am not still doing the exact same thing, okay? Because now I'm an adult making fun of kids on the internet. Nobody's thought of me as a kid since I roleplayed as a baby goat at the Palm Springs petting zoo party. I got so many handfuls of grass fed to me that day. In LA, you could never get that many micronutrients for free. But I'll stop myself before bragging about all of the free goat vaccines I got and really cool farm parasites. Because in this movie, our main character Taylor, played by Emily Osment of Disney Channel fame, is having a much less fortunate time in high school, getting harassed on social media by the whole town, except for one gay kid who she basically tells to go die. Taylor gets it from the school bully, her best friend, even her 10-year-old brother tries to destroy her reputation. Although from their perspective, it probably feels real good to bully someone who you know will always deliver instant melodramatic reactions, go on to become the cautionary tale of junior year, and achieve the ultimate level of fame for any determined teenager in a made-for-TV movie, being featured in a local news story. So boot up your child's spyware and tell them to brush the haters off for a surprisingly effective, relatable, and flashback-inducing cyber installment of Clip Breakdown. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies, TV movies, and other such content here on the web, and we break it down like the antiquated harassment laws of your state legislator so that it's caught up to the digital millennium. We look at each individual clip and say, that's okay, and that's gonna send her to therapy. Spoiler alert, our girl goes to therapy. Yes! I love when a movie actually is like, no, she needs therapy, because a lot of movies are like, magically happy again. But anyway, this movie obviously highlights the darker side of technology and poor communication. But let's not forget that technology can also help us come together and expand our horizons, which is why I'm excited that today's video is sponsored by Babbel, one of the top language learning apps in the world. Fall is a season of change, and I find it to be a great time to be learning a new language. A lot of students are gonna be going back to school or studying abroad. I have travel coming up in the middle of the fall, but even more than that, I just like the culture that learning a new language helps bring to my awareness. With short 10-minute lessons, I love being able to complete them in between TV shows that I'm watching, or often while I'm walking the dog, or even brushing my teeth. I'm allowed to brush my teeth for 10 minutes. It's my enamel. Babbel has speech recognition technology, so I can feel confident that I'm saying words correctly. I'm not trying to embarrass myself. In Mexico, I can say, ¿Qué onda? For what's up. Or if I want to say something is very cool, I can be like, Está muy chido. So as you can see, she's ready to take on the whole country. I would love to know what language you're most interested in learning, and when you're ready to get started, you can click the link in my description to get 60% off, or just scan the handy dandy QR code to get started learning a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Now, back to this poor communication, only anger movie. Merch, Patreon, you got it. In 2011, if you weren't really of age at that time, it was slightly different, but also a lot different. We had smartphones, but only some kids had internet enabled phones. I had a T-Mobile Sidekick, but iPhones and apps were not super ubiquitous yet, and you certainly couldn't get an app for a social media site. You would have to go to www.facebook.com on your phone. Also, it was we had home computers at the time, desktop home computers, which I haven't seen in well, I have a desktop, but I'm fancy. Anyway, let's check in with Taylor, who is getting ready for school, chatting with her friend Mirabella. That's not her name. Samantha. This is only the 1600th movie we've seen that begins with the two girls chatting about what they're gonna wear to school via instant messenger. I think we can round out the way girls get ready for school on television a little bit more than that. 2000s, it's just Clueless again and again. Groundhog's Day. Gotta
go figure out what the latest public relations crisis is today. Who are you calling a brat?
Private.
Well, what you do online isn't exactly private.
That's right, sweetie. I looked at your search history and saw all of those different variations on two skater girls kissing. I, for one, love this direction for your sexual development. Stay curious, you're on the right path. In this movie, I think Emily Osment does her best work in some of the smaller interactions with her mom and friends. It feels realistic. There's good chemistry between her and many of the cast, and this movie was meant to air on Disney Channel, where she was at this time on Hannah Montana. Well, I guess this was 1 year after Hannah Montana, but still. She was making the transition from that sitcom to doing more movies, especially on ABC. Like, she did that Goosebumps one. I was like, okay. And she had this single that was like, a shooting star twinkling across the sky at night. I was like, all right, good for you. Another realistic aspect of being a teenager that Emily does is thinking that one dry, crumbly Nature Valley granola bar is enough food to stay focused until lunch. High school is demanding, stressful, and for some reason, it was always ice cold. I wouldn't go back there without an IV bag and my present day list of antidepressants that work for me. Because back in high school, that list had drinking alcohol scribbled in blue pen at the top. As you can see, Taylor's mom is really into internet safety to the point where it's nearly her only character attribute. I get it, you're divorced and your daughter's on the internet. It's a stressful time. But the mom does mention how, oh, by the way, it's your birthday. Like, that should have been the first thing you said upon coming down the stairs, but okay. Someone's messaging her, like, are you having a party? And I'm like, who is that? Because she has two friends, and they're both in the car with her.
Why does everybody think I should have a party? Turning 17 doesn't mean anything.
Presents, money, bling.
If your dad had moved out 3 months ago, you wouldn't want a party either. Hey, you know that's not it. I don't care about that.
But either way, why don't you go ahead and chill out with those casual recaps on my estranged father subplot? Samantha loves to judge all of Taylor's decisions and also openly discuss her family issues like they were past episodes of Suburgatory. Taylor was like, do you guys think I should have a party? And Samantha was like, previously on Reasons That Your Mom Cried. By the way, Samantha is played by Kay Panabaker of Read It and Weep. I love that her last name is Panabaker because it just means like bread baker. I'm like, yeah, baby. With that olive oil dipping sauce, we're in. Also, it looks like the actress who plays Cheyenne, named Megan Rath, got the same unfortunate treatment as Monique Coleman in the early High School Musical movies, where none of the stylists on set seemed to quite know how to handle hair of people from her ethnicity. So she spends a lot of this movie in one wig with multiple headbands to try to like switch it up. But then randomly she'll have natural hair and it looks so good, just like kind of as air dried, I assume, in other scenes. Maybe for this part of the shoot her hair looked different because of another role and they just wanted to cover it up with something easy, but it's a different length, so it's not super continuous. Anyway, the girls get to school and we realize they're not maybe the most popular girls because the most popular girls, frankly, don't look that cool to me.
It was a class discussion. I wasn't even talking about her. My brother wears shoes like that. He's 10.
Oh God, Samantha's gonna be like, well, we think her shoes look hot and sexy, okay? So I guess tell your 10-year-old brother we think he looks hot and sexy too. Like, no, don't stick up for me like that. Besides, I could never feel insulted by somebody who actually wants to be seen eating candy at 8:17 a.m. What is it, Christmas Day? I still have toothpaste flavor in my mouth right now. And you're already hitting up the lolly shop. Like it's time to find the golden ticket. So trashy, we love. That character who made fun of the shoes is Lindsay Fordyce, the main mean girl of the movie who has sort of a thing because of a misunderstanding in health class where Taylor, by saying that she thought teenagers should wait till 18 to have sex, Lindsay took that as a judgment on her, which like, you know, this is what sucks about this movie and high school in general is that you wanted to have sex as a teenager, but then kids would be so vicious to each other if they found out that they had sex. It's like, why don't we all shut the f up? Oh, the woman who teaches history classes saying what day in history it was, leading up to saying, and it's Taylor's birthday. And based on the dates, it seems like it might be April 23rd, the day after my birthday. We're twins. In 2011, oh God, I turned 20 in 2011. I could have sworn I was still a teenager. That's not how years work. Anyway, the kids are clapping for her B-Day.
Happy birthday, Taylor.
Happy birthday. Today's my dad's birthday, too.
Cool.
Oh, the flirtation. He just reached his arm across the room like Stretch Armstrong, girl. He's definitely interested. That pointless dad-related interaction is basically the morning announcements before history class equivalent of him asking to buy you a drink. That's Scott, the crush. And Caleb is the one in front who said happy birthday. Later on, it's brought up that he's the gay kid in school, although they're definitely foreshadowing it by letting us see him in that vest. It was very fierce in 2011 to dress like you just finished a piano recital. Jazz piano though, like you had jeans on and were a little disheveled. Jason Robert Brown. That's how gay I am. The biggest flaw, I would say, with the script of this movie is the expositional dialogue, which frankly is such a mainstay of a lot of these movies that I noticed it less here because I found I know I read a lot of reviews online being like, the acting is crazy. At times, yes, but I feel like they were more directing choices because I think Kay Panabaker and Emily Osment do a solid job here with what they're given. I mean, here, Samantha's like, you know what happened with me. Eric hooked up with me, got what he wanted, and then never talked to me again. So she's very jaded by this. Understandably, I still get that way. Look out, kids, it's not just a high school thing. You're gonna be feeling forever. I don't know necessarily what Samantha gets out of trying to convince Taylor to just like not focus on boys at all. Like, forever? What is your problem? Why do you care?
Okay, remember, it was your dad that left you guys for a 25-year-old girl. If that doesn't tell you how scummy guys are.
Hey, why don't you bring it up a couple more times, Samantha? I think I saw a fleeting moment of peace on your best friend's face. Today is Taylor's birthday, and it seems like all you got her as a gift was talking about her dad leaving twice. At age 17, if I were Taylor, I would be playing the victim so victimly right now. Birthdays gave you that right. I'd be like, ugh, I guess you forgot that on the first day of school, we promised we would bring donuts for each other's birthday and then never mentioned it again. But I guess our friendship means nothing to you. I wonder what they could have done for Samantha to make it clear why she needs Taylor to not get into a relationship. Like, is there a past relationship or heartache that Taylor went through that was really annoying for Sam to have to console her? Or perhaps Sam has an older sister who had an unwanted pregnancy. I don't know. But we never get anything. It's just like, why are you obsessed with what she's doing as though you're Jiminy Cricket on her shoulder? That night for her birthday, her mom gives her her own laptop computer without all these crazy restrictions that she has on the home computer. She's like, you want to be a journalist? So I think you should write to your heart's content. It's like writing you can do without a computer, but yeah. Remember the old days journalism? Also, this is the first time they bring up that she wants to be a journalist out of a total of 2 times, I think. She doesn't really use the power of the written word herself to find a resolution here, but we'll get there. Because she can finally get on the computer now, she can make a Clicksters profile, which is loosely based after Facebook, although it seems like they call it a more unfiltered version of Facebook. I'm like, so MySpace? Twitter? Vine? But no, Clicksters, with its awful name, because they're like, let's go on Clicksters. I needed to look at my Clicksters profile. It's like, that little S is really me up. So anyway, Taylor's figuring out what to put for the About Me quiz, which this reminds me of MySpace. It's hard to come up with answers that will portray the version of yourself that you're trying to invent for the school.
What kind of underwear am I wearing right now? Oh my god! You just say pink. Everybody says pink.
I said black.
No, you guys, stop. I'm gonna tell the truth. Men's athletic supporter with a Fuji apple tucked inside the front for when I need a healthy snap. Actually, Taylor ends up going with blue underwear because pink is too cute and black is too sexy. But then what the f does blue mean? These colors are starting to feel even more arbitrary when you add in blue. Unless, were teenage girls using the hanky code in the 2010s? Work. When Sam gets home, her mom is asleep on the couch, and I was instantly like, does she got a wine glass? Is she an alcoholic mom? No, she's holding a dog. Also, she goes to check on her dad, and he's working. So she's kind of like lonely in her family. That never becomes anything more than what we just saw. Although I suppose it's supposed to imply this is one of the reasons why she does what she does later. But for now, it seems like all the kids are really living out their social lives on the internet, which is honestly something it took adults 60 years to figure out what we were doing. It's like, remember hanging out at the skate park after school? Now it's a chat room. I don't know how else to explain it. You have a job. You should be able to get it. Anyway, the mean comments come right away on Clicksters, like, this girl barely just verified her email address.
That's not very nice. I don't even know which one I'm supposed to be, Lardo or Dogface.
But I mean, you could make an educated guess, right, Fido? I'm just saying, only one of us wrote that essay about how your parents wouldn't let you on the couch when you were little because it took so long to potty train you. I'm thrilled that this movie captured an actual historical artifact from this period of time, a flash photo that washed out your entire face, with the exception of some cartoon-looking eyes that were drawn back in using the Photoshop burn tool to make your eyeliner appropriately dark. For whatever reason, this was the age of black pencil on your waterline 5 days a week, even if it made your eyes look small. The straightened hair, the kohl eyeliner, maybe because Bollywood was really in. You know, Slumdog Millionaire? Also, like the scene movement, emo stuff, it all kind of had that feel. And this movie totally nails the trend. Those hairstylists and makeup artists were like, we know what's up. Bad makeup. I also don't care for how Taylor seems not bothered by being made fun of by Lindsay until a random point in the movie. Like, I know they're not quite spreading lies about her like they do later, but someone was mean for no reason this morning and online, and they just laugh it off. So it seems like something happens all of a sudden. Oh, also, I should mention that Taylor's dad, who left, does not call her. It's like her birthday and he didn't call. Apparently it's because he thinks she'll be mad at him, and she had said, I never want to speak to you again, but it's like, you can still call your daughter. You should probably show up for that in that way. The next morning, the Scott guy is like, oh, I saw your page. I'm gonna be on this chat room for the school tonight and maybe I'll see you there. So they talk that night about music and he's really laying it on thick. I like this. I'm like, no mixed signals here.
So I was actually reading your page last night and you're a really good writer.
Well, thank you.
But I do think you need a few more pictures, though. Maybe a bikini shot or something.
Scott, please. I don't even have a bikini. So what about a medical photo of me in my underwear with my arms and legs splayed out like a starfish? The hospital wanted to submit it to be used in textbooks because no one had seen such a disgusting looking shingles outbreak before. You know what? I'll stop describing it and just upload the photo so you can see for yourself, Scotty boy. Shingles. Oh, I mean wink. By the way, if you didn't know, Emily Osment is the younger sister of Haley Joel Osment, who we saw on this channel in The Sixth Sense, and I can't believe I didn't mention during that video that I used to see him all the time in the bathroom after class. He was in his last 2 years of NYU and I was in my first, and we would always end up at the same bank of urinals. It was my first brush with stardom, and it smelled like piss. I'm just kidding. In the car, Samantha's being a real negative Nancy by saying, oh my God, just because Scott asked you for a bikini picture, that's not love. And Taylor is like, whoa, so and some dude and then getting dumped is love. And Samantha's like, you can walk home? You can walk the rest of this neighborhood walk home? I thought that was fun. Oh, and that night Cheyenne and Taylor are on Clicksters, and Taylor gets a friend request from some guy from a different school named James. It happens to be the school that Cheyenne's cousin goes to. So Cheyenne messages him. Oh, and then just right after dinner, hours later, Cheyenne is like, look at your Clicksters page, something terrible happened. I'm like, it's been 2 days. This is a second virtual attack on this girl's psyche. People are nuts. People are wilding out on this social media. This is before a two-step verification.
Somebody figured out my password and they hacked my profile. Look what they wrote. Look at the status.
I'm a naughty bad girl. Someone should spank me.
Oh, sweetie, of course you didn't write this, but unless you can prove that you're not a naughty girl, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to spank you. After all, computers don't know how to lie. They're how I found out about your dad cheating. This is maybe, I would say, my second favorite quote from the movie. I'm a naughty girl and someone should spank me? And I was awake all night trying to come up with the perfect headline for my single mom's dating profile. You kids are clever. No, this mom is full of responsibility, to the point where she doesn't talk human. She's like, sweetheart, you should deactivate the account. It isn't worth all of this trouble. Their second day on there and you're in tears. But I'm leaving it up to you to do it because I'm asking you to. It's like, Mom, you're stupid. Social media is not going anywhere. Internet not going anywhere. So figure something else out. I don't know. I guess this was back when social media was a little more optional. I mean, it still is, but you know, that's how kids talk now. Lindsay is responding to the spank me status, being snarky. So Taylor jumps on there and she's like, you're nasty and a bitch. I was like, yeah, get her. But she tries to forget about it by going over to Sam's house where they have a sleepover. And when she comes home the next day, her brother is in big trouble because Mom found out he's the one who guessed her password, the old cat's name, and wrote that status. Like, Sweetheart, your sister could have been killed. Your sister could have been ripped apart socially by teenagers. You don't know what it's like. You still have circle time at school. But Taylor doesn't get off easy either because mom is not happy about that comment.
You can't use the internet to be insulting or call anyone names.
Well, what about what they called me?
I know it's terrible, but that's no excuse to be ugly to someone online or anywhere.
Mom, please stop explaining things like the pamphlet that guidance counselors hand out. I'm developing a real mental illness here. You should be talking like those pamphlets that come with pharmaceutical samples. That way we can get the ball rolling here on the chemicals. When Taylor gets to school, there's a lot of people looking at her and laughing at her, and she finds out that while her computer was taken away for that mean comment for 3 days, people have been writing mean stuff on her wall all weekend. And when she wants to look at it on Sam's phone, Sam is suspiciously like, no, I'm not giving my phone. So I guess because she said she's a naughty girl who needs to be spanked, even though she took it down and said that her account was hacked, the whole school is like, no, we heard what you said, naughty girl 316, and we're gonna spank you. They're like really taking that to mean she's a slut and a whore is what they keep saying. Oh, so when she gets to homeroom, Caleb tries to empathize with her because he doesn't have it so easy online either. This was before Grindr. Was it? No, it must have been. Yeah, because we didn't have iPhones or location services. Old. I'm old.
You've been called a slut and a whore. Really?
Fairy, fruit, homo, too gay to live.
It's not really the same thing. I mean, you really are gay. What they're saying about me isn't true.
The way that I gasp every single time she says it. She looked at him and said, Caleb, the thing is, you really are gay. So in actuality, people are just expressing their opinions about that and how it's too much for them and how you deserve to die because of it. Meanwhile, they said that my kink is spanking, which like, I don't even know yet because I didn't even get to try it yet. Why are you being so insensitive to my struggle, fairy fruit homo? This is another example where Emily Osment is giving me realism. I remember having similar experiences in middle school right after I came out, which I had completely forgot about, drudging up the memories. Oh yeah, I was a cyberbully victim and perpetrator. I mean, that was kind of the thing. We all were just trying to keep the heat off of us. But even in real life, like this conversation, I remember sometimes there would be a group of guys standing across the courtyard after lunch, and sometimes I would see them all looking at me and laughing at me, and they'd be yelling, gay. And if I ever pointed it out or complained about it, there would always be that one girl who was like, so what? You are gay. As though that would like, I guess make me feel better. Like, oh, thanks so much for reminding me, Stephanie W. In that case, those guys must be having a polite conversation about my gayness and how much they accept it. Like, girl, obviously it's not about the classification being technically correct. I wasn't accusing them of libel. It's more the pejorative tone and the about to throw rocks at me part that I was concerned about. That's what's making me feel invalidated on this lunch period. Anyway, this shows that Taylor doesn't quite get that this is something that affects multiple people. Also, she doesn't get gay people at all. Like, that was not sensitive and is never resolved, and poor Caleb is not a well-portrayed gay character. You can't just start that story and then not finish it. Anyway, that night, James, the guy from the other school, is sticking up for her online. The kids are all mad because they're grounded, but Taylor's on the verge of getting her phone back. Oh, and when she's at lunch, Scott is flirting by asking to go get ketchup together. And he even asked if she'll go to the spring fling in a couple weeks. Everything is coming up Taylor, except for the disparaging comments online, but she's happy about it, and everyone should be. But Samantha, of course, is on the frowny train. She uses this opportunity to explain that Scott's not such a nice guy, because she's friends with Eric or whatever, the guy who she slept with, and this happened.
You want to know about Scott? Charlie told him about some stuff he and I did, and you know what Scott did? He laughed.
I mean, you can't really blame him for that, Samantha. We heard you farted and it sounded like Donald Duck. He probably thought you did it on purpose as a joke. But actually, this kind of stuff happened a lot when I was in high school, and it really sucks to have people making jokes about something so vulnerable and private. And then in Sam's case, it also sucks that she has a best friend who interprets her need for a hug as another chance to explain how she's so much better. This is Taylor's response to Sam, recalling that cruel experience.
I mean, just because you got dumped doesn't mean I will.
Like, ever? You think there's a chance you'll never get dumped in your whole lifetime? Mama, I wanted to recast this whole movie just from seeing that dead-faced expression you had on your dead face just now. Also, you're kind of mean without realizing it. Sounds like exactly the kind of girl who gets broken up with frequently. Taylor said, just because the whole school knows how your bra straps got tangled in your hair doesn't mean Scott and I won't get married at the spring fling and then die in each other's arms 100 years later. Taylor, you should probably work on being a little less smug because you're about to barely survive junior year. And karma comes quick in this movie because this is how Taylor's doing roughly a week and a half into being on social media. She finds out that her crush from the other school, James, has been posting about her, and it's bad.
He's saying he slept with you, that you gave him an STD.
It's no clap on.
Bet you Big Money has herpes too.
No wonder she reeks.
She's always made me want to throw up.
You know, I was actually up for a role as one of the slut-shaming voice actors in Taylor's head. But in my real life, I try to normalize STDs as much as possible, and in order to prevent that from coming through in my performance, I think I overcompensated. Here's my audition tape. Ew, such infected discharge. I can't believe how noticeable the odor is. I'm the janitor, and I'll follow her around with a mop. Hello, class. Today we'll be studying. I'm actually puking. I'm actually puking. What do you mean I'm stealing the scene? I'm not even on screen because they escorted me off set for similar behavior. I love watching a movie and seeing the exact shot that later became a meme. It's how I imagine bird watchers must feel, only much better because I'm not out inside. Tell me you haven't seen this reaction gif.
Do an algebra. Smell
The clap.
skanky whore. Gross. Don't breathe around her. You'll get infected.
Oh, this is the part where I messed up my callback. They told me not to push so hard and just be myself, but I think that stood out even more. 1 in 5 Americans has an STI at any given time, and most can be treated with modern medicine. The clap is a slang term for gonorrhea that originated in the 1500s. I'm the janitor again. If you have an STI or STD, it's not your fault. It's a medical condition that has no reflection on your morals or character. And I'm a wicked witch who's inventing a potion that cures the worst disease of all, social stigma. I'm sorry, we have to stop. I don't want the part. Whew. Sorry, everyone. The witch started talking and I got really scared. Obviously, Taylor is baffled why this kid who goes to another school would lie and say that she gave him an STD. Which, by the way, this movie never gets around to destigmatizing STDs. It's always seen as something gross or dirty, which is not great for teaching teenagers. And they do the same with sex work, too. But anyway, Cheyenne speaks to her cousin and she's like, we don't have a James Himmy here. He doesn't go to this school. So now it's like, well, so it's a fake profile? They think it must be Lindsay Forsythe, the mean girl who has a vendetta, but doesn't matter because it seems like everyone is turning against Taylor since the school thinks she has an STD now. Even Cheyenne gets made fun of for being associated with Taylor and is like, just don't follow me, okay? No one's ever made fun of me before until you got imaginary herpes or whatever. Like, first of all, you know it's not true. Second of all, even if it were, shut the fuck up. Do you know how many times I've had STDs? I'm not gonna tell you. But plenty. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Tell that to Scott, though. And again, there is no STD here.
People are saying stuff about me online. Like stuff that's totally not true. And look, I haven't slept with anybody or anything, and
I'll see in history.
Fine. Believe what you want, Scott, but I'm gonna find every student at this school who's spreading lies about me and make sure all of them get STDs. That stands for something they deserve. Really dumb time to start inventing new acronyms. What I really wanna know about Scott is if he's 17, then why does he have the face and skeleton of a sophomore in college? Even the fact that Taylor says she doesn't want to sleep with anyone until she's 18 feels like it adds to the stigma of premarital sex that this movie portrays. Because since she isn't even thinking about sex, she really doesn't deserve these rumors, as though people who had different feelings, it might be more believable. So it's like, what are you trying to say with that? I would have challenged myself as the writer of this movie, which was made in collaboration with 17 magazine as part of the Delete Digital Drama campaign. Also, like, maybe don't call it digital drama when it results in someone trying to take their own life. But anyway, I would have challenged the filmmakers to make Taylor even not like a perfect virgin, you know? Maybe she has experimented like Samantha and still she doesn't deserve that treatment, right? But this was a long time before the term slut shaming was even a thing. So Taylor's mom finds her just looking at the computer with a hood on. You can tell she's sad because she has the hood up. Cheyenne doesn't want to be friends with her. It sucks. And the mom is like, why would you subject yourself to reading all these comments? And she's like, look, mom, here's another one. It says that I get naked for 50 cents. It's like, God, these kids suck. And then we flash over to the owner of the James profile and find out who's behind the screen. So Samantha is the one who created a fake profile for a person named James to deceive Taylor. Sorry, that would normally be so much faster to explain, but the term catfishing was originated like the same month they were filming this movie. Also, "You're a liar, Lindsay" was another meme that sprang out of the trailer for this movie, and when they show that close up on the screen, it was more like a meme for Tumblr, which I loved, or 4chan, which I still kind of don't know what that is, or was, or is going to be, who cares. So we find out that Samantha, who's catfishing Taylor, and then it all makes sense. Every time she does something mean to Sam, Jimmy or James would pop up, like she was mean about the breakup, made her walk home, and then the fake profile popped up, and then she said, just because you got broken up doesn't mean I will, and then the STD rumor. The mom is on her own path, talking to the principal, and him being like, yeah, we really don't know what to do about these kids bullying each other on the internet. It's like, well, could you talk to them maybe? He's like, yeah, we don't have any school policy about it, but kids are spending all their time there. And I get that they're trying to like introduce that conflict of like, how do we police what kids do online after school? But then it's like, well, it becomes real life harassment, right? People are being so mean to Taylor online, being like, you have a baby daddy, right? Cheyenne's ignoring her. Oh my God. And this is like the day of the spring fling, and Scott has been ignoring her.
I was just wondering if we were still going to the dance tonight.
My mom said I have to go with Marty Fox. Her mom's best friends with my mom, and yeah.
Scott, you can ditch me for spring fling all you want, but don't you dare blame it on the beautiful friendship that your mother has with Marty Fox's mom. Taylor does basically run out of the classroom crying, which I love for her. I would have tried to play it a little more cool. I would have been like, try to go for like a tragically beautiful thing. Like, very well then. I hope you have fun with Marty Fox. I hope you have a good time and that the party rocks. I didn't mean to do a little rhyme there. I wouldn't prepare a poem for this. Please, just someone be nice to me. I'm already scared of the internet, and it only like just became a thing. Poor Taylor. She's crying forever. The girls are mean to her in the bathroom, and she runs out of there. It's too much. Oh, and then she gets online, and they're doing little skits about her. Little plays.
I'm Taylor Hillridge. Want to have a good time? How about $2? 50 cents? I'm the dirtiest little whore.
Damn, Lindsay, you really went to Kinko's and got a little group together for this, didn't you? So how is it that you cannot seem to turn in that one English poster on time? Also, how are anyone's eyes even lining up with those holes that they cut out? Who's under the mask, Quasimodo? That's what I would have commented. Again, the stigmatization of sex workers continued to be kind of unchecked throughout the 2010s rather. So after seeing this video, Taylor's clearly having like a panic attack in her room, very distraught, and she turns on her camera and records a video where she says she doesn't know what to do because nobody likes her and it's all lies, so she can't think of any other solution other than to just disappear, and then she says goodbye. Sam instantly gets in her car and rushes to Taylor's house, and we have a very suspenseful sequence. Well, it tries to be suspenseful. It does sort of undercut itself right at the end.
Where's Taylor? How should I know? I'm grounded. Taylor? Taylor?
I can't get the cap on.
Oh my God, Taylor, I got here just in time. I saw that video where you were saying goodbye, and I got so worried. I got so worried because you have my Aeropostale sweatshirt in your backpack, and I needed to get it back before you go on vacation or whatever. Are you moving to a new school? I saw the video, but I was like on my phone. You know, on one hand, it is a shame that such a serious situation ended up being unintentionally funny, but on the other hand, I'm not sure all of us would even remember this movie a decade later if it weren't for that scene and the fact that 17-year-old Taylor had never used a child-proof safety cap before. From a filmmaking standpoint, that dramatic buildup was 59 seconds long and seemed to involve most of the town. So the sequence basically had to end with like the neighbor's dog miraculously performing CPR, because anything other than a skin of the teeth, life or death close call was gonna feel anticlimactic. And then they chose to give Emily Osment a bottle that was too hard to open. It has the physical comedy you would expect to see from her as Lily in Hannah Montana. This is my impression of Lily all through Hannah Montana. Yeah, right. Beat it, Burger Breath. Okay, Oliver. And she always had like a jacket on. Anyway, the mom gets home as well, and they pry the pills out of her hand, and she's screaming about how she wants to die. Very sad stuff, especially because this kind of shit really happens. In fact, this movie was loosely based on the case of a teenager who took her own life after being bullied on Facebook. The hospital gives the mom some sedatives to help her get through the week, and he says some more textbook stuff about cyberbullying where he's like, oh, it follows you home because you can't just escape it like in the old bullying days. So anyway, now that Taylor is safe at home sleeping, her mom is on a mission to find out who is behind this anonymous profile that has been torturing her.
Check in on Taylor every 10 minutes and call me if she wakes up.
Okay.
Eric, I'm serious. I didn't unground you so that you could play video games all day.
I ungrounded you so I could put my daughter's life in your 6th grade hands. Okay, sweetie? So set a timer. Check on her every 10 minutes. You don't want to start summer vacation with her blood on your hands. This seems like a family that has good insurance. I'm talking white privilege, platinum PPO coverage. They could probably get that poor girl into an inpatient facility with no deductible. They don't want to find her a bed somewhere for a week or two, whatever. They kind of act like her depression is something that she can just sleep off. I like that they eventually get her into group therapy, but it takes 2 sessions for her to no longer be mentally ill. So that timeline feels a little condensed. People are still leaving mean comments about Taylor online. And for some reason, the video is still up that she posted. Oy. Even Scott is like, she freaks me out. I never liked her. So it's like, you're a jerk, Scott. Not the video of her final manifesto getting a 5-star rating. This school is brutal. And again, this was before most teenagers even had an iPhone, which only added even more fuel to these unsupervised hormone fires. No wonder the high schoolers on Euphoria are all tortured souls and webcam models. I didn't hit that era until I was 22. I don't know about you. After talking to Cheyenne and talking to Cheyenne's dad, who's like, sorry about your daughter. It's like, who are all these extra parents? I don't need them. Cheyenne indicates it might be Lindsay Forsyth or whatever who is doing the fake profile because she's pretty mean to Taylor. So, Mama Bear goes to that house a knockin', and the dad answers.
My wife passed away a few years ago, so you'll have to deal with me.
I have posts from Lindsay mocking Taylor.
You should know that you're speaking with an attorney. That's her right. It's called freedom of speech. You might want to give it a read.
Why don't you tell your dead wife to give it a read, Charles? How very lawyer-like to basically be rude to somebody when their daughter could have died. Because showing any form of compassion to that person might be interpreted as accepting liability. He said, look, if my daughter wrote that your daughter has a stank pussy, that's not something the government can put her in jail for, according to the Constitution. And in a way, that proves the statement true. I'm a lawyer. Just because it might be covered by free speech, it doesn't mean that the mom can't find some consequence. Like the school could take action, or I would just go after that girl's whole college career and say, okay, attorney at law, I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure all of these screenshots and printouts make it into a reference letter that goes straight to the admission board of every single college that your creepy little daughter even thinks about applying to. And then I'm gonna sneak in her window at night and take a shit on her wall-to-wall carpeting. Oh, that's how I play. That's how I play against the law. Taylor is reluctantly brought to group therapy, and she doesn't want to deal with this. She doesn't think she'll get anything out of it, but the mom basically cries and begs her, saying I can't lose you. This part made me cry because my mom did this to me once, trying to make me go to rehab or something, and it was like, oh, not the crying at the foot of my bed. Jesus, all right, I'll live. So yeah, another relatable part is Caleb is in this group therapy because his bullying is just as bad if Taylor could look outside of herself, and tells this story.
There was this guy I liked. I told him personal stuff, and he sent it to a bunch of people. Now at school, there's a bunch of guys, they act out the stuff I said right in front of me. They call it the Gay Boys Show.
Hey, that was my screen name as a webcam model. We were just talking about that. I'm just kidding. Caleb, that's awful, because straight boys are often uncreative when naming things. The story that Caleb tells is very close to home, because when I was a sophomore, these 2 girls who were mad at me at the time because one of them found out I had a crush on her boyfriend, it's like, why are you threatened by that? He's straight. You're giving him your Why are you mad just because I've got an unrequited crush? She was mean to me at a 16th birthday party, and then the next Monday or Sunday, I got this message from some guy on Instant Messenger, and he sent me a picture of his abs that was clearly Google Photos, and I called it. I was like, who is this really? I can tell it's not you. And those girls admitted to it being them, and they called me gross and yelled at me for liking her boyfriend, and started these rumors about me having sex with a 50-year-old. That was true, but still. Anyway, it me up. I really went to a dark place. Well, actually, I went to rehab just a few months later. Hey, this movie is very similar. It must be something that happened to a lot of kids because cyberbullying, there was no education on it. It was so new of a concept. Like, cyberbullying wasn't talked about. Being mean or the phenomenon of feeling anonymous behind a computer screen and allowing it to embolden you to be cruel to other people was unresearched. And I know I was guilty of it too, often just hoping to get the hate onto somebody else, especially when I still wanted to be friends with those two girls so bad. And I remember their names, I'm just not saying it, and they remember their names too. I mean, but I forgive them. It's like, we were different people back then. I just said I did the same thing. Everyone was carrying their own baggage. Sam admonishes Scott for saying mean things about Taylor online, and he's like, well, you're just so perfect. And she's like crushed by the guilt of this secret that she has. Meanwhile, back home, Taylor is getting a lot out of group therapy, realizing that it's very common and a lot of normal kids are having cyberbully attacks, and it's not just because there's something wrong with her, which is what she felt like before. And her mom kind of have this moment where she's like, I always thought you were so mean, Mom, but you're actually so nice. And she's like, I'm not mean, rude, but I'm just responsible. I just care about you. And then Sam has to ruin this nice moment by coming up and admitting that she's the one who created the fake profile. And it just like really sends Taylor into a spiral. Like, it's so depressing, I imagine, to find out that your best friend would do that. It eventually leaks that this was Sam, and the people online are now mean to her, being like, Sam pretended to be a dude. She looks like a dude. It's like, oh my God, so problematic. So she shows up to Scott's work. He apologizes, but then she's like, did you see the video? I just wanted to let you know it wasn't you. I know you didn't want to go to the dance and that was the same day, but I don't want you to think it was all your fault. There was a lot going on. And he was like, yeah, my mom even told me, like, check your ego, dude. There's more going on. And I was like, okay, this guy sucks at acting. But, it's good to see Taylor kind of reassembling her social life and finally getting some fucking sympathy around here. Hi, from Scott. You're okay for a minute, Scott. We'll see. Also, there was a part where Taylor's mom, I'm like, when do you work? Though privilege. But she goes to a senator to try to get laws passed to help harassment laws protect against online harassment. And that guy brushed her off. He's like, we don't need to worry about this. But Taylor's not ready to give up.
I don't want us to give up on trying to get a law passed.
Well, we can always try and find a new senator.
No, I want to try something else. Dr. Roki says we have to call attention to it, so I want to call attention to it.
Good. That's how I got the insurance company to cover my infected toenail. I wrote a viral song about it. No one wants to see inside my shoe cause it's nasty, nasty. Nasty is such a funny way of saying nasty. Let's make it a thing. Let's make it a thing. Oh, my lip color. My sweet little dog Toast is out there tired. It is only 11:23 p.m. I haven't even ordered the pizza of tonight yet, although she'll probably be excited of that part. So in order to get more attention, instead of using the internet, which would have been cool because it's like, oh, she's using the tool that was negative for positive change. If she had like published a blog article, it also would have been cool because she wanted to be a journalist at one point before like 12 people decided to make her life hell. So this is, I guess, getting her back to her roots of journalism, even though she's not writing the article. She meets with a journalist, and they even convince Sam and her mom to come in and make the article about how this crazy thing happened. Even her best friend decided to be mean to her, and how and why and what went into it. And so Sam is like, I deserve it, but everyone's being mean to me now. And Taylor's like, no, you don't. No one deserves it. So it's kind of like this, I suppose, turning point for Taylor where she realizes like, oh, it's just a cycle. Like, once I'm out of the picture, they just go to make fun of the next person. Like, this has to stop.
I deserve it. No, you don't.
Little girl, cry harder about almost causing your friend's death. Then you might make the front page. Please, this is a local newspaper. Who's gonna care? Oh, the senator. They're trying to get the senator to pass a law. Taylor and Sam sort of have a reconciliation out front, and it seems like their friendship is not going to be dead in the water. And even Taylor goes to school for the first time the next day, ready to face people for the first time, and Sam walks into the lunchroom with her, being like, I hope we can be friends again, but I'm glad you're at least willing to try. Instantly, of course, Lindsay is over there with her fucking chicken sandwich, being like, the crazy patrol. And they're like, you know what, Lindsay? It's time we took some of these words and shoved them right back in your little mouth. In your little mouth, Lindsay. Your little mouth. Whew, I need that pizza.
Hey, Lindsay, you should know your words actually hurt.
You're making everyone around you miserable.
Why don't you just stop attacking people on Clicksters?
Just like any other bully.
They maybe need to talk to someone.
Yeah, and that's why your mom died 2 years ago, Lindsay. We heard it from your dad. Sorry, I tend to have a hard time understanding whether I'm being part of the problem or the solution. It's usually the problem, so unfortunate. All of the kids, even little gay kid, tell off Lindsay, and the school actually is texting everyone being like, Taylor just told off Lindsay. Is it true? OMFG. You know, she's winning. She's winning high school now. I mean, she almost lost big time, but there you go. Thank God for mental health care, which they definitely downplay. I get that she was in therapy and got to relate to other people, but it seems like really soon for someone to be not suffering with clinical depression. I don't know though, I'm not a doctor. Maybe this is how it happens in some cases when it's like brought on by a particular situation of stress, but oof, my cyberbullying situation, I was dealing with that all the way through senior year. Like that happened sophomore year. I remember I was still talking to my therapist about it freshman year of college. I'm still talking about it now to you. Much bigger platform, so it's satisfying. But anyway, the journalist, I hate that we just flash back to the mom all of a sudden. I'm like, I get it. The mom is bony and determined to help her daughter. Good for her. Good for her. But anyway, she also looks like someone who would be in a Olay Regenerist commercial, don't you think? A journalist calls and is like, oh, I called the senator you spoke to for a statement and he said, you must be stupid because he loves helping cyberbullies go to jail or whatever. And she's like, that's great news. The power of written press got them the law passed. This part was drawn from the real life case of that tragic ending in which new legislation did get passed in the victim's name. But back in Taylor's world, we're in a happily ever after spot. The kids are enjoying lunch together. Weird little pantomime they're doing here considering, I don't know, you tell me. Samantha, no. She's like, look, Taylor, I'm you with that pill bottle. I can't get the cap off. Cheyenne is sitting there like, oh, I hate that you guys have that fun memory without me. But as long as everyone survives, we can have another good day on the internet. So what do you think of Cyberbully? Did you see this when you were younger? Did it feel relatable? Did you have similar experiences? I want to know all of it in the comments. I tell you about my traumatic past and it doesn't bother me, so get over it. I'm just kidding. But thanks to the help of people like Tina Meyer and Megan Meyer Foundation. That's Megan Meyer is the name of the person who unfortunately lost their life because of a cyberbullying harassment. And according to this, in 2011, 34 states then had anti-cyberbullying laws in place. It must be more now because like that's the #1 place to harass someone. So let me know what you thought about Cyberbully and what other ABC movies or moral dilemma movies like this could we cover. This one reminded me a lot of Queen Size on Lifetime. The kid being bullied, it escalating, and then going to the news for help. But what else is good? Let me know. Also, give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns on movies just like this. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, make sure you click that subscribe button. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week. So the notification button will help you always be the first to know when I am uncapping the bottle of clip breakdown pills. Sorry, shouldn't even go down that road. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you so much for getting the cap off with me. I will see you next time.